Well, hello there, and welcome back once again to the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. It has been serving my coffee table ever since. And what goes better than with a coffee table book, some coffee table talk, than some freshly brewed coffee? Pull up a chair and grab your favorite cup of whatever. Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. Very, very nice bean. It was roasted recently. Oh man, this is good coffee. If you like good coffee, there's a certain button in the banner. Just saying. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope your day is wonderful and excellent, and that you're smashing all your challenges and not being smashed by them. Sometimes it's the only choice. And this is a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Geoff Spear, Chip Kidd, and Les Daniels. You can find the link to the Amazon page in the description, so you can get your own copy. It would look great on your coffee table, and it makes an excellent gift. My intention about this show is to recreate the comic book shop style conversations we'd have on any given Wednesday back in the funny book bodegas, and to share that here today with you right now. And we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. We already have been, and we're halfway through the year, and let's just keep on going on, talking about comic books once a day, getting lost in our fantasy world and putting aside our problems just for a few moments. I like to take the beginning of the show to talk about something that matters greatly to me. And I like to be fair, and I like to not feel bullied either. I was bullied as a child. I really was. And so I know what a bully is. This is called the escapism caveat. And I need to address activists and activism, because activism is important. Activists are important. The world's in trouble. The people who live in this world need help. Activists are good guys, and they know that they're trying to save the world, just like our fictional heroes, okay? But the tactics and methods that they use lately, over the past several years, especially when it comes to using fandoms and sports and arts as platforms to disseminate their messaging, I mean, there needs to be a line. Activists have spaces. Activists have places. They don't need to be infiltrating and corrupting our fandoms so they can use it for their purposes. Whatever their intention is, we need escapism. Escapism is just as important as activism. We need to leave behind this world's problems just for a few moments in a day. Be a hunter, be a gangster, be a space pilot, get lost in the game, in the match, on the pitch, on the ice. Just that's what escapism is there for. Our problems will be there when we return. They will, and we'll have to deal with them or ignore them. That's what people do. Yet, escapism is not a platform. It's not just a place to put agendas and social engineering and things. It's a place to get lost and not be reminded of the world's many problems. By intersecting the world's issues into every facet, if there's no escape, I mean, all I have is compassion fatigue now for these activists. I mean, it's just like, okay, just another, like I get my own problems, yeah. And isn't that kind of weird, huh? I mean, we need our activism, and we need our escapism, and the two can coexist. Do activists respect our spaces? No, they clearly don't. It's actually, I've sussed it out to be, it's a form of intellectual colonialism. Everything bad about colonialism that progressives like to say is bad, they've come into these spaces as immigrants. There was a pre-existing population here with a culture and with mores and with ways. And we're being re-educated, such as with conquistadors in Christianity, that this is the only way to be, or you're some kind of savage, you're othered. I mean, I'm a history fan. I see this, and I see it in my fictions. I see it in my sportses. What am I going on about? Let's get back to this book. Sully, shut up and start talking. Let me wet my whistle. We're going to use this book for its intended purpose. We're going to open up to today's date, which is July the 21st. And I hope you're doing awesome. I hope that you're clobbering this day, because this day could clobber you. So, you know what I mean? Make your choice. This is art by George Papp from Leading Comics #3, summer of 1942. Let's look at this art. We've got one big panel. We've got at least 4 different narrative captions, 2 dialogue bubbles, over 4 obvious panels. And what we can see from this page, we got 2 robots in hijinks. One of the dialogue is from the robot who, he fall down and go clang. That's a robot voice. And I guess his vocoder has not been properly attenuated for the local speech dialects and stuffs. Just going on. Oh man, unscripted, unfiltered, unedited. I mean, my lo-fi charm is like, is where it's at. That's my brand, Oscar is at his tricks again. Sometimes it frightens me to think I have created a machine so nearly human. Uh-oh. But he did not fall down and go clang. He was pushed. Aren't these like some of the moral kind of conundrums that, like, we ask children sometimes, yeah, huh? That's a good place. See, that's a good, so you see, morality is like, and if they're sewn into the fabric, you don't notice it, or it's just, it's part of the fabric of the story. That's great. I mean, because that's like a child, if you're on a swing, you can ask a child this question. It's one of these morality metrics. A child pushes another child off of the swing. How do you feel about that? What do you think? Was that right or wrong? You should, ask a child about that and be surprised by their answer and see how much morality is inculcated or innate. These wonderful things. I love talking about comic books. See, we're talking about comic books. So it's July the 21st. Deep in the Florida Everglades, eccentric scientist Leo Starr is fooling around with radium and robots, little suspecting that the fun will come to an end when no less a personage than Alexander the Great comes calling. The man dressed in armor and a jive-talking robot will join metallic forces and to fend off the shafts of Green Arrow and Speedy, while the other 7 soldiers of victory battle the menace of the Time Tyrants. So this is from the adventure team. There's a team of, I think this is the first time we've mentioned them all year. The 7 soldiers of victory were the other superhero team of the DC Golden Age. The DC Golden Age had the Justice Society of America with Flash, Hawkman, Wonder Woman. We have Superman and Batman as honorary members, and you have Hourman, you have Sandman, you have Wildcat, you have Black Canary eventually. So the 7 Soldiers of Victory were a different team with a different roster. They had Green Arrow and Speedy, but they also had the Shining Knight. They had Vigilante, the Crimson Adventure, the Star-Spangled Kid, and Stripesy. And they were the 7 Soldiers of Victory. and they had their own thing, and they were just unlike most superhero teams. This one included 2 sidekicks, and also Crimson Avengers sidekick Wing. We also talk about unfortunate racial stereotypes every time we can, because that's important when inspecting this antediluvian age. Wing also takes part in the team's adventures and is in every other way the eighth soldier of victory. I remember back in 2005, 2006, comic book legend writer Grant Morrison, who has this great encyclopedic knowledge of Gold, Silver, and Bronze Age DC and Marvel comics, that he got a chance to do a reboot in a modernization of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. And Grant would always like to mess around with highfalutin concepts, especially in storytelling, publication, and when it comes to art, when it comes to dialogue, when it comes to magic, when it comes to science, when it comes to sci-fi. Grant Morrison is a complete package, and I'm so honored to be one of his big fans. I really am. And he created something called Seven Soldiers, which was an interesting publishing conceit. He had an open and a close in the Seven Soldiers. He had 2 issues of that. It was Seven Soldiers issue 0 and Seven Soldiers number 1, which was the final issue. In between these 2 bookends were 7 magazines, each a 4-parter, and each really did not have much to do with each other, except for sharing the same big bad global existential threat. And each one of these 7 soldiers independently don't know it, but they're on the same team, fighting the same bad guy, coming to the same conclusions, and in the end, unite and beat, I think. I went downstairs to my long boxes to go find my stack of 7 soldiers, and I'm going to tell you, I never finished it. I didn't. Yeah, I gave up like halfway through. Sometimes Grant Morrison, he swings for the fences, and he's got a great on-base percentage, but people that hit the ball strike out a lot too. This is a baseball reference, and anyone who knows their baseball will know that hitters, sluggers that crank out hits, base hits, home runs, and everything in between, they strike out a lot too. Why? Because they're swinging for that ball every time. They really do. So does Grant Morrison, and it fell flat with me. But it starts off with 7 soldiers who get together, and they all get killed. Oh, and it was dark. You had a new vigilante, and you had Gimmicks, the estranged daughter of Mary of 1,000 Gimmicks, we just covered the other day. We had a descendant of TNT and Dan the Dynamite. We haven't even come to them yet. Or the Golden Age Whip. I think we've only mentioned them once. And this entire team is killed off. But then we are introduced to the 7 soldiers, and each one of their 4-issue minis. You have the Shining Knight, who is from medieval days. Originally Sir Justin, but then there's what we call a gender swap. And so by the end of it, we have the revelation that Sir Justin was literally Sir Justine. So we're given that whole Lord of the Rings reveal, like, I am no man. And that story note is brought into the DCU. There's the Manhattan Guardian. There was the Bulleteer. Clarion the Witch Boy, which had amazing art by Fraser Irving. There was Frankenstein, Mr. Miracle, and that was Norman Shiloh's Mr. Miracle as well, which is a Kirby creation. Then there was Zatanna, the magician of the DC universe, who we know her dad, Giovanni John Zatara, from this very book, and because he gets brought up a lot. And every time I bring up Zatara, I bring up Zatanna, his even more famous daughter, who is still on the rosters of the JLA even to this day. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Ring that bell. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. I talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef. I'm a spiritual guy, an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. We get spiritual here. Hashtag lighten up. It's about enlightenment and how a little bit of spirituality goes a long way in your day. Seriously does. It's helped me. If the skies are clear and there are planets out, we're going to shoot videos of what planets we can see in our naked eye sky. So join us, please. There's room for everyone. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Take care. Bye-bye.